What is going on, everyone? On today's show, we got a few updates. We can talk about Capcom Cup, which happened last night, and a $1 million prize was awarded for the best Street Fighter 6 player in the world currently. We got some other gaming updates. I've got some streaming updates right now in regards to volume level, in regards to fan art, and some other stuff. So we got an interesting podcast to talk about today. All this and more after the intro. Alright, so how is everyone today? Good morning. Welcome to the show. I hope that you're all doing well. Today is Monday, the 26th of February, 2024. Of course, I'm DSP. Welcome here to the Level 1 Podcast. And an interesting day today. We got an interesting variety of stuff to talk about. Before we get to my content, before we get to the streams from yesterday, before we get to the schedule, before we get to news, a couple quick things to talk about in regards to the streams here and some tech stuff. So, tech thing number one, okay? Last night, on my retro replay stream over on the DSP Throwback channel, I was reacting to the original Heavy Rain playthrough from 2010, and someone commented, isn't there any way that you could raise the volume of your microphone? And I said, well, honestly, the only way that I could raise the volume of my microphone would be to manually raise it over here on my Scarlett device. I don't know what it's called. I don't think it's called a mixer. It's a device I bought 10 years ago when people were helping me set up this professional mic setup that I have here with this Audio-Technica mic. So I'm not exactly sure what it's called. Okay? But basically, everything in OBS, which is my capture and streaming software, is max. Like, I cannot actually make this microphone any louder in OBS. It's 100% to the max, okay? There's no, like, volume booster feature or anything like that, so that's as loud as I can make it, but people have been telling me for years, I mean, ever since I got this mic, 10 years now, my volume's lower than everyone else on the internet. Phil, why is the audio on only your videos so ridiculously low, while everyone else's is much louder? To which I answer, I don't know. I bought the equipment I was instructed to buy 10 years ago. I set it up exactly as I was instructed to set it up, and for whatever reason, the natural volume level has always been lower. So I don't know why. And the thing is, we've talked about this many times over the years. No one has an answer. The answer, oh, go buy all new equipment. No, there's nothing wrong with this equipment. It sounds great, does it not? Why am I going to go out and buy a whole new microphone, a whole new mixer device, a whole new thing? Oh, this works. It's lower volume than, I guess, everyone else's videos, but it still works, right? So, basically, with everything in my control maxed, this is just where we've left it for years. Every once in a while, I try tweaking stuff. Well, last night, once again, people saying, oh, can you adjust it? I said, well, here's what I'll do. I'm literally just going to go over here, and I'm going to slowly turn the volume up. There's a volume knob on the mixer device. So I'm just going to slowly, very slowly, nudge it, nudge it, nudge it, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, okay? And let's see what happens. So I did that, and as I was nudging it, people were like, okay, it is sounding a little better, it's sounding a little better. So as of this morning, this actually should be louder. All right, I did increase it last night. However, I could still increase it slightly more, but the reason why I'm very apprehensive about doing that is right now, no exaggeration, it's saying orange and red. Now it's back to green. So what happens is on this mixer device, this Scarlett mixer device, it's a red or maroonish box. It's called Focusrite Scarlett or something like that, okay? And And basically, it's what takes in the input of this professional grade mic, converts it to a USB signal, and puts that audio to my PC. It has a little knob that's the volume adjuster for this microphone, and around that knob is a light that lights up. So every time I talk, it blinks green, okay? But sometimes it's blinking orange or red, which means you're at the level where if it goes any louder, it's going to distort the audio. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. So, basically the way I see it is, I don't really know how else I could improve this. Like some people are saying, well, get closer to the mic. I'm literally less than a foot from the mic. You may not look it because of the camera perspective. This is about a foot. From here to here, from this hand to this hand is about a foot. So if I'm any closer, I'm going to be spitting all over the mic like way too close, distorting my audio. Okay? I'm well aware that my setup looks different than many other people's, but it's pretty much as good as it's going to get for what I do. I don't know what else I could do to improve the mic setup, unless someone has some crazy idea regarding this Focusrite Scarlett device, this Audio-Technica mic. Like, I did tweak it last night. You should hear more volume right now. Like, literally, the video should be louder. Or at least my voice should be louder than it was previously. And because of that, I might have to even increase the volume of the game today. Like, you might say, oh, Phil, your voice is way louder than it was previously. Can you make the game louder? In which case I will. So give me that feedback. Let me know, okay? But yeah, this is as much as I'm doing, you know, it's as much as I can do in regards to a quick improvement. Let's put it that way. Like, could I upgrade all my equipment? Yeah, I could, but there's really nothing wrong with the equipment, right? It's good. The equipment is great. It's been working great for how many years? I mean, I got a lot of value out of this equipment. So there you go. All right, so that's update number 1 tech-wise. I hope that my mic volume sounds louder, and if it does, great, let me know. And please let me know to adjust the volume of all the games appropriately so that you can still hear the games, all right? Now, some people are saying, yes, they could definitely hear an upgrade and an improvement today, so that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. The other thing that weirdly happened this morning, by the way, thank you, SD Chargers, for that super chat. He says, this Scarlett is actually called an audio interface. That's what these devices are called. Something that converts a studio-style mic into something that works with a USB device, you know, to plug into a PC. Okay, cool, thank you. All right. The other thing that I have to talk about this morning is the artwork that I run on the beginning of the stream. And in fact, why don't we look at it together a little bit as I talk about this? So here's the artwork that I run at the beginning of the stream. And the weirdest thing is going on regarding this artwork. Something is glitching with it. Okay, and you might say, what does that mean? Let me put it this way. Right now you're looking at artwork and you're probably like, wait a minute, I don't recognize this. What's this? Feasting with the King? What was that other one about consoles and stuff? That's artwork that I've had in the artwork rotation for a while. All right, but you've never seen it. Or you haven't seen it in ages, and you might be saying, why? Okay? Well, I'm going to show you something. Hold on. So if I do this, I'm just curious. If I do this and I do that. So what this does, this resets the artwork. So now we're back at the beginning of the artwork playlist that I use when my stream first turns on. You're going to see several pieces of new art. Look at this. This art, I've had this art for like a month. And I added it to the streams a month ago. So you might say, wait a minute, I never saw this stuff. Like, why is this here now? But where was it? Well, basically, here's the deal. And I found out about this years ago. Look how cool this is. And this hasn't been on my stream in ages. Even though I've had it, it hasn't been on my stream in ages. Look how good that is, right? So here's what happened, okay? Excuse me. So, I use a broadcasting software called OBS, Open Broadcast Software. It's free. It's open source. Anyone can write for this artwork, or for this artwork. Anyone can write code for this thing. Anyone can put an add-on for this thing. Okay? However, because it's open source, it frequently has issues. It frequently has updates that don't make sense. I'm going to give you some examples, okay? So a few years ago, I used to have moving artwork in this slideshow. We had art of, like, Sakura standing outside of the stage of Street Fighter Alpha, and it was all movement, right? We had we had the 3 or 4 different kinds of cool moving artwork that I would have in this slideshow that you would see when I turn on my streams. And you might say, Well, I don't understand what happened to the moving artwork. You don't have it anymore. So out of nowhere one day, OBS did an update. Now this update actually had a lot of important new things in it, all right, to actually add to OBS. And by the way, let me go back to my camera now. So you definitely wanted to get this update because this update had all these things that made OBS better, quality of life improvements and things like that. But the update added in something that made no sense. It actually didn't add, it took away. And you might say, what does that mean? What did it take away? It took away the ability to have the moving slideshows. Because what it did is it limited the size of a slideshow to a certain file size. Okay? So once your slideshow hit, I don't know, let's arbitrarily say 500 megabytes or, whatever it is. That's it. Can't add any more to the slideshow. It just won't work. So what ended up happening was the animations were huge. And so it would play the animation and 2 other slide works, and that was it. So my slideshow was 3 slides. And everyone's like, why did you go from like 20 slides to 3 slides? I said, oh, because I didn't even realize they changed the art with the update. They changed the limitation of this. And they're like, well, why would they limit something that previously was better? Like when you update software, you should add things to make it better, not take away things, right? So come to find out, it's because people are stupid. There were people who were actually loading so much into slideshows in OBS, it was crashing their computers. There were reported cases where people were idiotically loading in giant video files and things like that, and it was actually crashing everything for them. So basically, after repeated complaints, OBS said, all right, what we'll do is we'll update the software to make it that you can't do that anymore. What? Huh? It's basically a blatant misuse of the software. Instead of putting in a warning, like let's say, for example, the limit is 500 megabytes for the slideshow. What should happen is when you add the file, OBS should detect this and have a pop-up warning. You're now adding over 500 megabytes and you're putting your computer in danger of crashing because you have too much in this. Do you still want to proceed, right? No, instead, just remove the whole ability to do it. Right? It's like, what? It's kind of like in New York City many years ago, they outlawed large sodas at restaurants. Like they made it so that you can't buy a soda of a certain size at a restaurant. Wait, what? Why? Well, because there's too many people who were drinking the large sodas. It was very unhealthy for them. They obviously didn't know better. So let's outlaw it. How about instead you raise awareness of the issue that soda is bad for you, right? And make it so that people for themselves make the right choices rather than limit everyone else. This is the equivalent of like there's one idiot in a classroom who keeps misbehaving, so you punish the whole class instead of the idiot misbehaving. Right? So that's what OBS did. They changed OBS to make it so that, because some people don't know how to use the slideshow, everyone suffers, just make the slideshow much worse for everyone. So basically, for years now, I've had no animations in my slideshow. I can't. But what happened is I didn't realize, apparently, several months ago, as I was adding in new fan art to the slideshow, I must have hit the limit of art. And I didn't know that because OBS doesn't tell you. So I was adding in all these cool new pieces of art and you weren't seeing them. You were only seeing the same 20 to 30 pieces of art that you've seen for like a freaking year. Like, no exaggeration, you were seeing exactly the same art over and over, and I wasn't aware of this because I'm not sitting here staring at the art. When I'm on my PC, I'm reading chat, I'm setting things up. So I actually had no clue that you guys were seeing so much less of the art. And it actually upsets me because there's some people here who've had great artwork for years and years, and no one ever saw it. So what I'm actually going to do here, I'm probably going to like move some artwork up so that you guys will be able to see it, because there's some really good artwork that looks like it got pushed to like the bottom that you guys haven't seen for a while. And so what I'll do is I'll push some of those up. And see, it just sucks. I have so many artworks submitted from people that I don't even know what they all are. So I might actually have to like figure this out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is annoying for sure. For sure. Why the hell? Ugh. Like right now I'm sitting here with you guys watching this. to try to figure out what art is what. Yeah, I know. People are saying, what about this blue one? Well, this blue one's all right, but I think I'm going to remove that one. Like, what I'm going to have to probably do is go through every piece of art that I have in this thing, see, you know, which ones I like, which ones I don't like, and basically handpick them. Like, handpick the ones that I want to be shown. And that's stupid that I have to do that, but it looks like I may have to do that. Yeah. Anyway, all right, so I don't want to waste any more time on that, but you should see different artwork now in the rotation, which is good. I mean, I'm happy that people have submitted art. You saw there was one that advertises all 3 of my channels now. I mean, that DSP Throwback one was made over a month ago, and I added it to the slideshow, and I just realized, like, where is it? And I start looking, I'm like, dude, there's like 20 pieces of art that aren't showing. So anyway, I'm going to have to basically handpick certain art and to have it show, and I'm, you know, it's a pain in the butt, but what are you going to do, right? So I apologize. Anyone there who maybe made some artwork of me and you haven't seen it in ages, or it never showed up on stream, I apologize. I have to work on this thing now and figure this out. Why, you know, it's so dumb that OBS does stuff like that, you know? Punish everyone because one idiot didn't know what he was doing and probably fried his computer adding in like 4K video clips to his slideshow on his stream, and he just destroyed his computer or something like that, right? Like, geez. Okay. Anyway, I got out of the technical thing, so I hope the mic sounds better. If anything, if this improvement is we're good, I'm happy. People have complained about the volume level for years. Hopefully this sounds better for you, okay? All right, so today we're back into the swing of things with gaming, and we're in the home stretch of my streaming week. That's right. Normally this would be my halfway point, but this is a shorter streaming week for me. Why? Well, because of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming out soon. I actually pre-ordered the game the other day, and it's supposed to preload when available. It has not preloaded yet. So I don't know when it's actually going to be available to pre-download. I hope soon. Because I would love... Purchased. Here it is. I would love to download it, and it is set up to auto-download, but it has not yet. Yeah. Anyway, so because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out Thursday, this is a shorter streaming week for me. And so, today we got a full day of gaming. Tomorrow we got a full day of gaming. And we're off Wednesday. And I'm back on Thursday for a full day of the Rebirth launch. Okay? So, let's talk. Let's talk about yesterday. Let's talk about today in the schedule. And then we will get into game news. Because I know some people probably want to hear my opinion on the Capcom Cup winner. You know, we talked about this last year. The first ever $1 million prize for someone winning a fighting game tournament. And it happened last night. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that, okay? So, yesterday was React Day here on my streams. We had a podcast here on DSP Gaming. Then we went over to my sister channel, DSP Reacts, for my weekly clip show, DSP versus the Internet. And then we went over to the DSP Throwback channel for a retro replay night of Heavy Rain. I had a great time all day. Like, I don't have a complaint. Seriously, the whole day was fun. Good variety on the React show on DSP Reacts. You know, good variety of clips there. Actually ended up watching both the trailer for the new Epic Mickey Rebrushed, as well as the Elden Ring DLC trailer, Shadow of the Erd Tree, and actually got to react to it because someone did an analyzation of it. And I was happy to do that because not only was I essentially reacting to the trailer, but also to the analysis of it. It was really cool. So that was great stuff. And if you missed it, you missed out on a good show. 3 parts as of right now are live. 3 more will be going live over the course of the week. Check them out over on DSP React. And remember, it's the members over there that nominate the clips. So if you become a member today, you'll be able to nominate clips for the show. Now, it has to be either submissions level or higher to do that. If you become an ultra member over there, you're guaranteed to have your clip watched. Please consider it. Like, no exaggeration, pretty much the members are the only reason that I make any money on that channel. I don't get ad revenue on the videos because they all get claimed. Sometimes I make some income on the streams. Sadly, yesterday was a real slow one. So really, it's the memberships. So please consider becoming a member if you like that kind of stuff. I've been enjoying it a lot, and I cannot wait for more next week. Now, let's talk about DSP Throwback last night. Here's what I'm finding. the DSP Throwback channel is appealing to a certain group of people. Basically, longtime fans of mine who really liked my content over the years and are now actually coming back in order to basically support my content because they like it so much and they're so happy to see that I'm still here on the internet, still making content, still loving what I do. Even though I'm small time now, I'm still successful, and they're happy to see that. So every time that I've done one of these retro replay streams, we get people who, you know, maybe 300-400 people, tops. You know, by the end of the stream, sometimes it goes down to 200. But these people are very engaged and having a great time. Last night, we had people come, you know, to the stream who were like, wow, I haven't been around in ages, but, you know, when I first saw your Heavy Rain playthrough, you know, was a young person going through crazy times in my life, and this entertained me and put a smile on my face. Here we are, 14 years later, and I'm an adult. I got a life, a job, you know, I'm stable, and I'm happy to see you. So here you go. Here's a contribution, and I wanted to say thank you so much for everything over the years. And that's the kind of feedback I'm getting from the Throwback channel, which is amazing. It's amazing to me that, you know, when I started way back when on YouTube, YouTube was not a place to have a living. There was no one making careers on YouTube at the time. It was just a hobby, right? I never intended for anything I ever did on YouTube to take off, blow up, get popular. I certainly never saw any way that I was ever going to do YouTube for a job or a living because it didn't exist. You couldn't even monetize gameplay videos back then. Essentially, I was just dicking around. That's it. I was just dicking around. And the fact that somehow just me being myself and dicking around entertained so many, gave so many a smile on their face in times of their life when they really needed it, right? That's awesome. It totally was unintended, but it's awesome to hear. And it's cool to see people come back after such a long period of time and say, wow, I'm actually rediscovering your content now. I can't believe, you know, this playthrough is back or whatever. And, you know, and here's my take on it, and thanks so much. It's awesome, you know? It's a great feeling. You know, because people say all the time, Phil, why do you put up with all the stuff on the internet? Why do you keep being a YouTuber and all of that? And here's your answer. Because I'm helping people. Might not intend to. Might not really know exactly how, right? But I'm having a great time with it, man. And I'm helping people every day. People tell me what I do has meaning. You know, gives them hope for the future. That stuff that I do motivates them. To see me come to stream every day and do what I do and you know what I love, despite all the crap on the internet about me, it's inspiring to a lot of people, right? I don't think of it that way at all. I never think of it that way, but people constantly tell me so, you know. So there you have it. All right. So I'm happy to hear that. And those throwback streams, we have a ton of fun. It's fun watching the old playthroughs and reacting to my old style of commentary. It's cool to see the old camera, to hear the old audio, right? It's fun to re-experience these classic games. You know, I have never watched back these playthroughs, ever. So for me to go back and do this for the first time, I mean, think of it this way. Someone who's been around as long as me, this kind of legacy content was bound to happen, right? Where people are going to get nostalgic about the old stuff, and then we can go back and watch it together. That's the cool thing about being around for 15 plus years, right? So I'm having a great time with it. And it got to the point where, like, everyone's like, yeah, can we still continue to do this once a week? We really like this. So I said, here's what we'll do. As long as people are enjoying it and want it, I'll keep doing it once a week. But I want to be sure people still want it and enjoy it. I'm not going to keep doing it once a week if then it gets boring and tired and no one wants it, right? Right now, it's hot. People are really enjoying it and they want more. So we're going to do it again next weekend, all right? So Heavy Rain, I think we're at the part 19 of the playthrough, and the playthrough is like 50-some parts. So, yeah, we're going to do another one next Sunday night, same time, same place, and I made a poll, and the poll is, what do you want to see the next stream be, okay? And there's many, many options, so allow me to tell you the options, and let's see how the poll has gone, because I don't know, I didn't even check on it yet. So, let's close this up here. Here's the channel. So here's the poll. I posted it last night, all right? The Retro React streams continue to do very well, so we're going to do another one here on Sunday night, March 3rd at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Time. What game would you like to see me react to this time? We have 2 returning continuing games plus 2 new ones this week, so be sure to vote and good luck. Dark Souls 1, continuing. Heavy Rain, continuing. Bully, the 2013 run, or Bioshock, the original 2009 run. That's right, for those who don't know, my first playthrough ever of Bioshock is incredibly old. 2009. That's even before the other stuff we've done on the channel. It's before Final Fantasy 13, before Red Dead, before any of them. Okay? So that's some of the oldest content I've done on the internet. The poll has only been live for 13 hours. And this poll will run all week long. But here are the initial results. Continue Dark Souls 1, 16%. Bully, 13%. Bioshock, 13%. Continue with Heavy Rain, 58%. I take it you guys are really liking my reaction to Heavy Rain then, right? Now keep in mind, only 232 people have voted. Lots more can vote. In fact, these polls have been around 400 or 500 votes by the end of the week. So I would expect a lot more people to vote over the course of the week. And if you haven't yet, check it out on DSP Throwback. It's youtube.com/@DSP Throwback. Community tab. Boom, right there. There's the poll. Okay? So give it a look. Consider voting if you haven't. And I will check on this time to time over the course of the week. But right now, Heavy Rain is way in the lead. Way, way, way in the lead. Which I'm fine with. You know, we had a blast so far with the playthrough. I think, if you do the math, we're around 3 to 3.5 hours into the playthrough. And it's about a 10-hour game, roughly. So we're about a third in. So probably another, like, 4 streams and we would probably beat the game. Dependent. You know, I don't actually remember everything about my first run. Like, I know about the game, and I know the different alternate courses you could take and who lives and who dies and how the ending pans out. I don't remember how my original run panned out. I don't remember the exact ending that I got. So I guess it'll be interesting to see together live as we do this. So next week, on Sunday night, just like last night, we're going to do another Retro React. Please vote. We'll see what it is. But as it works now, okay, one part will go live a day. So one part went live last night at 10 p.m. And then another part for the next 4 days. I did 5 parts last night, each around 30 minutes long. You can watch those on demand every day on DSP Throwback. Or if you become a member on the channel, you have instant access to any stream that I do as soon as the stream goes offline. It's like we could watch the whole archive stream. So it's a reason to consider doing or becoming a member. Now, Fed Rogers just said something. He said, I thought you're starting work on like your taxes and patron videos next week. I'm going to do it another night. I'll probably do it Monday night. I'll probably take away from one of the other night streams I was going to do. Because you guys are liking the Retro React so much, it makes more sense to do the Retro React and then take a different night off than to take the Sunday night off and not do the Retro React. Okay? So there you go. I'll probably have like Monday night of that week. And I don't mean tonight. I mean next Monday. I'll probably have that night off to do personal stuff. Okay? Cool. So yeah, man, it went well last night. I had a great time with all of you. I hope that you enjoyed. And we continue on positively. Today we're back to gaming. All right, so let's talk about the schedule now. Today it's Tekken 8 with Yoshimitsu, and I'm excited, and here's why. Last night, I watched 2 pro Yoshimitsu players play. And as I'm watching them play, I realized that they're utilizing a couple things that I'm not. Some of them are using the unblockable, where Yoshimitsu sticks out his hand and he has his sword in his hand, but it's a robot hand, so the hand spins like a helicopter blade, and it's an unblockable. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I knew how to do it in previous Tekkens. It used to be back, and left punch, but they don't have it like that in this game. So what the hell's the input? Because I'd like to know. Then I noticed that people were doing this kick. It's like a quick kick forward and then a sword swipe. It's good. It's quick 2 hits. It can interrupt attacks. It could be a combo finisher. That some of them were using this. And I'm like, how do you do that? So I'm watching this and I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, you know, I feel like if I knew more moves now, I'd actually be doing better. But I don't know all the moves. And the thing with Tekken is so complex. Okay, unlike Street Fighter, like you might say, okay, Street Fighter has 6 buttons. And so there's a jumping version, a crouching version, and a standing version of every attack. Then you hold directions, and some of them are a little different. And then you have special moves. No. In Tekken, you got neutral, up, down, left, right, up, left, down, back, down, right. All of those could be a different move just with one button. Then you've got double taps. Then you got double tap holds. Then you've got double button inputs. So no exaggeration, Tekken probably has the most moves of any fighting game. Okay? And Yoshimitsu has an insanely huge repertoire of moves. So even though I'm playing with Yoshimitsu, I'm getting better every time I play, and I'm in the red ranks right now. Like, I'm actually doing pretty good. I definitely could be doing even better if I knew some of these other moves. So I actually went, after watching these pro matches last night, I went and I looked up, someone literally just went through the Yoshimitsu moves list and just showed a demo of each move of how it looks and what it is. And I watched it. It took 10 minutes. And I was like, I learned like 3 different moves that I want to use. So he has 2 versions of that unblockable. One version comes out really fast, but only spins like once. So it has to hit. The other version is a little bit slower to come out, but the helicopter literally just stays out there as you're holding the buttons. So I'm going to try both of those today, because what you can do, one of the strategies people are doing is you get the opponent to the corner, you wait just a tiny second, and then you do the unblockable. And as they try to get up, they walk right into it. It's another extra hit to knock the enemy down. Like, aha, I could use that. That little kick stab move, that I want to implement as well. But outside of that, you know, just a few other strategies. For example, I always use the command throw at Yoshimitsu, where you grab them, you lift them, and slam them down. Well, there's a move you can do. It's like forward with 2 punches. And it's just a really cool walk forward slash with the sword. Normally, it's not that useful. But in this case, if they're getting up after that throw, and they do anything but just wait, like if they do any get up move or anything, this slash catches them and hits them for a big counter hit damage. And I saw a pro player do it like 3 times. I was like, oh man, that's good. So I'm watching people, I'm just learning more, absorbing more. Like, this is excellent, right? This is so cool. Because back in the day, you guys don't even know because you weren't there, right? Back in the day, to play fighting games competitively, you had to go to arcades. You had to play against a wide variety of people to absorb tech. But if those people weren't good or didn't know enough tech, you didn't learn. How are you going to learn if you're not playing people that challenge you to learn new things, right? So you had to start traveling. You had to go to tournaments. You had to do all this. There was no online resources for anything. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, it was a lot of experience and a lot of learning. Now, here we are a month into Tekken, right? It's been about a month since it came out. And all these resources are now online. And I can just look at these videos and learn these techniques. Now, to some extent, sadly, this means that games advance way faster now. And it means that within a couple of months, the meta of Tekken 8 will be discovered, and you'll already know what the top tier gameplay is, and then that's it. It used to take years and years for fighting games to reach that point. Like, for example, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. The whole first year was different than the whole second year, was different than the whole third year, and really the game didn't reach its peak point of the meta of what the game was until its 4th year in existence. That's when all of a sudden everything became the massive rush down, rich mix-up juggle combos with Magneto, the fly-unfly combos with Sentinel. You didn't get that till like year 4, okay? Today, you go online, and within a week, you've seen all the top-tier strategies for the game. You've seen all insane combos and everything, right? It's just pretty crazy. And now, it's fun to be able to learn a game like me with Tekken 8. I'm turboing through this game and getting better because of the online resources. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the whole world is advancing that fast too. Like, I feel right now, I'm better at Tekken than I've ever been before in my life. I mean that. Like, playing Tekken 8, this is the best I've ever been playing Tekken competitively. And I'm 41 years old, and I'm not even as good or as fast or anything that I used to be, right? Like, but I'm the best I've ever been. Why? Because of all the resources online, and I'm absorbing and playing, and I'm learning and getting better. That's pretty crazy to think about that. As a 41-year-old, I'm better than back when I was in my teens or 20s, you know? But I am. So there you go. So anyway, I'm having a good time with Tekken. I'm excited today to jump into the game again and try these unblockables and try the kick stab setup and try the other slash setup after a throw. Like, I have some tricks I'm going to use. And another thing I need to keep doing, which I keep forgetting. If you tap left kick, right kick fast, he does this kind of flip kick. It's really good. All the pro players use it. It catches things. It leads you into a setup where you could transition into a stance. Like, I need to do it more. and I'm not. So I need to start implementing that in my gameplay as well. So, anyway, I'm excited for a 3-hour Tekken ranked stream today in the red ranks. I'm hoping to level up. Maybe we can get to purple today. I don't think so. I don't think we will. But I think I'm going to do good, and we're going to have tougher matches. We're going to have people who have learned the online strategies for these characters. A lot of these characters are button mashers. You know, Yoshimitsu is not a button masher character. You mash with him, you die. I mean, you try to mash buttons, do something fast, you'll get the wrong move, the wrong stance. He'll stab himself in the chest and commit suicide because he has a move to do that. He's definitely not a button masher. But man, there are a lot of characters in this game that are very mashable, very spammable, very repeatable move over and over kind of deal online. And I need to learn how to counter that. Right now, I am losing to it. Why? Lack of knowledge. I need to keep playing, and then I'll get better. Okay? So, continuing on. Tonight on the late stream will be more Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Time. We are continuing on with the push to quest. And what I mean by that is, no, we're not grinding. No, we're not leveling up. No, we're not doing side mini-game stuff. We're doing story missions, and we're doing side quests missions. We're trying to get questing done and advance plot lines, okay? And we did that the entire last stream, and it was a really good one. So I'm excited to do more of that tonight. I hope you'll join me for a nice late-night chill stream vibe, okay? Now, tomorrow, Tuesday the 27th, is my final consecutive streaming day of the week. It is, ladies and gentlemen, the final major stream of Baldur's Gate 3 until the game goes on a hiatus. What I mean by that is that the game will still be played, but way, way, way less. We got to make room for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Everyone's excited for it. Everyone's pumped for it. The reviewers have reviewed the hell out of it positively. Gamers are hyped for it. It's actually one of my most anticipated games of this year. I'm so stoked to play it on Thursday with you and to start that journey, okay? Because of that, Baldur's Gate 3 will likely only get played like once a week. Alright? The good news is, we are in the end game of the game. Like, we're in Act 3. We're at Baldur's Gate. We're doing the final quest lines and things in the area before we eventually get to the finale of the game and its story. So, basically, I'm excited for this. But, yeah, it's going to take a lot longer. Alright? Now, by the way, Jimmy John says, how did you decide on Baldur's Gate 3 versus Like a Dragon going on hiatus? Here's the deal. They're going to be played almost equally, right? Baldur's Gate 3 will be one daytime stream a week, that's 3 hours. Like a Dragon will be 2 night streams a week, that's 4 hours. It's almost the same. There's no hiatus. It's not like one went on ultra hiatus and one didn't. It's that Final Fantasy VII is taking preference over everything, right? It's going to take precedence. Everyone wants to see it more. That's the major game moving forward. That's the deal. Okay? All right. So, tomorrow, Baldur's Gate 3, Act 3, at Baldur's Gate, doing content, unlocking stuff, having fun. Come join us for the final major Baldur's Gate stream until it goes on like a big reduction of how much it's played, alright? It's going to almost be like kind of a send-off for it. I've been playing this game for over 2 months now as the major daytime stream. It has been by far the most featured game I've played for over 2 months, okay? So, is it sad? Yes and no. It's sad to play it less, but at the same time, I'm still going to be playing it. We're just making room for the new games. So I'm not sad about it. It's more kind of bittersweet, I guess you could say. I'm happy that we'll keep playing it, and we are eventually going to beat it. Okay? Alright, so, tomorrow, come join me. Final Baldur's Gate 3 stream until next week when I basically play it like once a week moving forward. So, and, of course, tomorrow night, more Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Okay? What's funny is you got someone like Noct Foss. He says, who wants Final Fantasy VII? People have been supporting Baldur's Gate 3 more than any other playthrough. You're right. The 200 people. That's it. Everyone, if you haven't noticed, the views for the streams are dwindling and terrible. The views on the on-demand videos are also terrible. But there's a bunch of supportive people who support the playthrough. That's great. But I have to at least start playing stuff people want to watch again. You know, Final Fantasy VII is the most hyped game to come out in months. People have been anticipating this so much. They loved my original remake playthrough. They've been waiting for my Rebirth playthrough. I've been waiting for the Rebirth playthrough. People want new games. I've been playing the same games for 2 months now. Really. They just want something fresh and new and different, and that's what this is going to be. So, all right. So I'm off on Wednesday from streaming. Thursday, all day long, both streams, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Friday, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Friday Night Fights, Tekken 8, more Yoshimitsu in red ranked, hopefully hitting purple eventually. Saturday, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Like a Dragon. Sunday, React Day. DSP versus the Internet on DSP React. Retro replay of whatever you vote for on DSP Throwback. Monday, more Final Fantasy VII. And Monday night, I'm taking off from streaming to officially work on private stuff. Whether it's taxes, whether it's Patreon videos, I don't know yet. But I'm going to be doing stuff offline. I need the time to do it. So Monday night is the night I'm taking off. Tuesday, Final Fantasy VII and Tekken. Wednesday, my final streaming day of the week. This is not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. Final Fantasy VII. No, Baldur's Gate 3. And Like a Dragon Infinite Well. So there will be one Baldur's Gate 3 stream at the end of the week. And that's how I'm planning on doing it. Final Fantasy VII is the daytime stream, 4 streams with a React stream in the middle. And then the final stream of the week is Baldur's Gate 3. That's when it gets its time in the sun to continue, basically. Okay? So, I hope you guys will join. I hope you guys will enjoy. I hope you guys will support. And I hope you guys will come by, because a lot of people have not been coming by recently because they're tired of the same games. Final Fantasy VII is the big new one. Then in 2 weeks after that, you got the new Battlefront collection coming out. A week after that, you got Rise of the Ronin and Dragon's Dogma 2, and then we're going to have like non-stop new games for a while. That's why I'm actually intending to get as far in Final Fantasy VII as I can in a 3-week span. I figure we can almost finish it, so that way it's not another game stuck in limbo, never finishing before new games come out. Okay? Okay. There you have it. That's the schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for my favorite segment. It's time for your favorite segment. It's time for everyone's favorite segment here on the Level 1 podcast. It's a little show I like to call Phil's Day Off. I'm just kidding. DSP News. Are you ready? Because we have I take it back. I think we have 3 pieces of news today. Let me take a look here. 3 pieces of news. First of all, I think we should get to the big piece of news, Capcom Cup. Yes, after almost a year now, right? Like, Street Fighter 6 came out in June of last year. So we're talking, what, 10 months it's been out? 8 months? 8 months it's been out? About 8 months, 9 months now. The first world circuit is complete. Players from all around the world competed and qualified for this tournament. The $1 million prize cup for first place for Street Fighter 6. Sadly, it kind of went down exactly how I thought it would. What do I mean? Basically, unless you were like one of the top 5 characters in the game, you had no chance of winning Capcom Cup. That's literally what I said last year. All right? Last year, when everyone's like, oh, Capcom Cup, or people hyped for Capcom Cup, I said, why would you be hyped for Capcom Cup? Do you not understand how this works? Number one, the only people who have a chance of winning Capcom Cup are pro players. People who are signed on a team, have the ability to play this game full-time, travel all around the world, have the resources and the means to play that much. There's no Joe Nobody Cinderella story, right? Who's going to come out of nowhere. Like, oh, the winner of Capcom Cup was John Arnold from Hoboken, New Jersey, playing in his parents' basement, and now he's the world champion. That's never going to happen. The way that these games go now is that the only way that you can get good and win these tournaments is to be in a pro situation, signed to a team, sponsorships out the butt to pay for your travel, to pay for everything so you can constantly play. Pro players play games 5 to 10 hours a day. I'm not exaggerating. They play these fighting games 5 to 10 hours a day, okay? And if you take a look at who made it into Capcom Cup, all right? Literally all pro players, all signed to teams and stuff like that. Who were the people? Like 10 Lukes, 8 Kens, 5 or 6 juries, 5 DJs. Now, these aren't exact numbers, but this is pretty much exact, what I was trying to tell you guys. This is how it will be. All the easy top tiers, way overly going to be, expected to be represented. All the mid to low tiers, completely underrepresented. And sadly, Capcom Cup will be incredibly boring to watch. Guess what? Capcom Cup was incredibly fucking boring to watch. It was literally every single fight. Ken, Luke, Jury, DJ, Ken, Luke, Jury, DJ, Ken, Luke, Jury, There was so few matches that weren't those characters, you were falling asleep. Really, like, it was just shitty. And that sucks because sadly, it just shows the game does not have good balance, okay? That's not good. And I said this, once the top tiers were determined in the game, what did I say? I said the problem with this game is that the top tiers are too easy to play with, all right? If you had a character, like, let's say Dalzim was the best character in the game, at least then it would make sense. He's the best character in the game because he's one of the hardest to play. So even though he's outstanding and he dominates, you're not going to have as many people using him. The problem with Street Fighter 6 is the top tier characters are the easiest to play in the game. They have every fucking advantage and almost no disadvantages. They can continuously rush down with absolutely no risk-reward ratio at all. It's all reward. It's literally just wait for an opening. Wait for the one hit. Get it? Boom. Win. That's not fun. That's not good competitive gameplay. That was Capcom Cup. You had Snake Eyes, the best Zangief in the world, gets put into a pool with 2 DJs. He can't win because that's an insane counter match. No matter how perfect he plays, he's going to lose, right? We had no E Hondas, no Minoes, no Lilies, right? None of these characters that would have added variety. None of them made it to Capcom Cup because the top tiers are too dominant in this game and too fucking easy to play. I'm going to give you an example here. Okay? Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. For the longest time, everyone thought that old Sagat was the best character in the game. Why? Because he's the easiest to play, but he's very dominant. But over time, gameplay evolved. You want to know who actually is probably the best character in the game? Old T-Hawk. Okay? Now, wait a minute. What does that mean? Old T-Hawk is an alternate version of T-Hawk. You have to put a code in to get him on the select screen. Old T-Hawk has the best throws in the game, the best command throw. He actually has situations where he can trap you with little tick moves, like tick jabs, and then immediately go into a throw, and there's literally nothing you can do. You lose. Okay? Now, people didn't know that old T-Hawk was good for the longest time. Why? Because he was hard to play. But once people figured out, wow, if you play perfectly and you master this character, he's one of, if not the best character in the game, it completely changed the face of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Now when you play Super Turbo, no exaggeration, almost every character can be played at a high competitive level. There's some exceptions, like Blanca, he sucks. And it's unfortunate. I like Blanca a ton. He's just terrible in Super Turbo, okay? But basically, that game is super fun because you can play an easy-to-play character like Old Sagat, or you can play the hardest character in the game to play, Old T-Hawk, and they all have a competitive chance. In Street Fighter 6, only about 7 characters have a competitive chance because they're too fucking easy to play and the game's too skewed towards them. Alright? Can you win with Honda? Sure. Could you win a match with Lily? Yes. Are you ever going to get a significant streak of wins with them? No. Are you going to win a tournament with them? No. Sad. Because that's how it is in good fighting games. In good fighting games, on any given day, anyone can win. In Street Fighter 6, that's not the case. They kind of fucked it up. They made it so that it was easy to play. What it is they wanted accessibility. They wanted any Joe Nobody to be able to play Street Fighter 6 and learn a basic pattern with these top tiers and be able to beat people. But they made it too easy. So with no actual hurdle to access the game at a competitive level, you've got these dominant tiers that just aren't fun to watch. Do you really want to watch Capcom Cup? It's the same 5 characters for fucking 4 hours. It's the same shit in a circle. You could do that at home. Right? Now, the winner of Capcom Cup, his name was Uma, and he's a jury player. And it was hilarious because I saw reactions online like, oh, thank God the jury won instead of the army of Lukes. And you know, take this, you jury haters. What jury haters? Jury is dominantly one of the top tier characters in the game. It's probably a triple tie. Ken, Luke, Jury are probably the top 3, with DJ right there, maybe top, maybe a long tie, or maybe just under. And then you arguably have 1 or 2 characters like JP or whatever just under that, right? And then you've got everybody else. No one was saying that Jury sucked. No one was saying that Juri was an underdog. Why would you even say that? If you said it, you're a fucking idiot. She's a great character. Yeah, she plays differently than maybe spammable Luke, but she's still a great character, and everyone knows she's top tier. So, it's just funny to me, because this is exactly what I said was going to happen last year. I said, based on what I'm seeing, you're not going to have anyone who's not signed to a team be able to do anything in this game, and I was correct. The only people who are placing, winning, and doing significantly well in Street Fighter 6 are people who are on these professional teams, literally playing the game full time. I said, once this game's meta is developed, you're going to see, because these rushdown characters are too easy to play and too overpowered, this is all you're going to see. And everyone said, oh, you're just over-exaggerating. You just saw Capcom Cup. How many Kens, how many Lukes, how many Juris, how many DJs? Exactly as I said when I played the game online is exactly what came to pass in the biggest tournament of the year. So, I hate to say it, sadly, I feel like we've kind of reached that level where that's all we're going to see in the game until they rebalance it. So, I'm hoping they're going to fix this. I don't want Street Fighter 6 from now on to be Juri, Ken, Luke, DJ, JP. I don't want it to be a 5-character game, but that's what's happening right now. And now that Capcom Cup has happened, oh, you bet your stars and garters that everyone's going to jump on the Juri bandwagon. 5,000 online pattern play spammable Juris that you can't beat because the character's overpowered, right? That sucks. So, they will eventually fix the game, I feel. They always do. Like, Season 2 will likely be after all the DLC characters are released. So, you got Ed next week. Or actually, you got Ed tomorrow, right? Ed is tomorrow. Holy shit, time flies. And then you've got Blanca, wow. Akuma coming out in a couple of months. And after that, then they'll probably do the Season 2 balance patch. And God, they better make it so that, number one, these characters at the bottom have a chance, or else no one's ever going to touch them again. And number two, they've got to nerf these top tiers that are just so stupidly easy to play and too brokenly overpowered. So that would be how they're going to fix it, in my opinion. But let's see what happens, okay? So congratulations to Uma. No one's going to take away from the fact that the people who are good at this game put in insane amounts of time, dedication, and have insane amounts of skill. No one. It's just sad that Capcom Cup literally was how I explained it would be. No variety, no real fun, the same pattern shit over and over in a circle, boring as shit. Don't want to see the same 5 characters for the rest of the game's life cycle, right? Okay. Continuing on with the fighting game news, Tekken 8 in 1 month has sold over 2 million copies. That is incredibly, incredibly good. All right? For a fighting game. That's really, really good. Now, do I remember if that's how good Street Fighter 6 did? No, I forgot. I didn't document that. But man, it's great to see it sell 2 million copies in only 1 month. And, you know, I hate to say it, but I think some of the wind got taken out of the sales of Tekken 8 because of Capcom Cup. Like, the timing of Capcom Cup made it so that right now when everyone was talking about Tekken 8, all of a sudden for like a week, all anyone talked about was Street Fighter 6 again, right? So it is better than Street Fighter 6. People are saying it took Street Fighter 6 2 months to hit 2 million. Well, there you go. I'm happy for that. I like Tekken 8 a lot. I really do. I'm loving the game. I'm having a great time with it. It deserves it. It's well designed, has tons of content for everyone. Again, story mode, character story, you know, character stories to play, an arcade simulation mode. All that's offline content that they didn't have to put in the game, and they did, and it adds content. But then, you know, online play is good. So I'm having a great time with Tekken. I can't wait for more. I'm glad to see that it's a success story for them. Lastly, there's a new Game Pass game hitting the market in April 25th. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the most revolutionary game I've ever heard of. It's called Aggro Crab. It's supposed to be, get this, I'm not kidding you, a crustacean-themed Souls-like game. It's coming to Switch, Steam, and other consoles, but it's on Game Pass. I know you've always wanted to play Dark Souls with a killer crab. Now you can. Alright? So on April 25th, you better be ready. Yeah, I know. People are like, what? I know. I just randomly saw this on Twitter this morning, and I was like, what? And I started watching video of it, and it really is. It has some interesting mechanics, and it's very cartoony. But it actually does play like a Dark Souls game with crabs and crustacean creatures and undersea creatures. So I might try it. I don't know. It's a Game Pass game. I might try it in late April on a whim, and if it ends up being entertaining, maybe I'll keep playing it. I don't know. It's just something that dropped into my feed. So check it out. Aggro Crab, April 25th. And I'll probably look into that in the future. Okay. One final thing. I do bring this stuff up from time to time. All right? But I feel like I should bring it up again because a lot of people aren't aware that this kind of stuff happens. So, FYI, YouTube has always had an ongoing issue with subscriptions. Here's what I mean by that. And by the way, I guess we can end the news segment now. You like someone's content, you subscribe to their YouTube channel, right? So you expect that when this person uploads videos, those videos are going to end up in your feed, right? You're going to know when they're doing new content and stuff like that. But it doesn't always work like that, okay? Just so you guys know, FYI, YouTube has issues with subscriptions and always has. This was an infamous issue many years ago, and YouTube insisted that there was no issue, but then supposedly fixed it. Anyway, even though there was no issue, and they couldn't figure out or replicate the issue, there was an issue and they fixed it. The issue I'm talking about is you'll subscribe to a channel, and then YouTube, unbeknownst to you, without your knowledge, and without any kind of contact or any reasoning or your willingness to do it, will unsubscribe you from a YouTube channel for no good reason. Okay? I know this happens because people told me about it over the years. Here's the thing, I never really harp on subscription numbers. People used to, like back in the day, the amount of subscribers you had on YouTube was like a direct measurement of your success. That was the measuring stick. How many subscribers you had equates to like success on YouTube. Now, it's complete bullshit. You could easily fudge those numbers. You could fuck with them. You could do things to mess with them. It doesn't mean anything. It's just an arbitrary number. So, the amount of subscribers you had is not representative of your popularity on YouTube at all. However, that's how people always judged it. All right? So, back in the day, people used to talk about, oh, God, when my subscriber numbers dip and things like that. But really, the problem is when you're someone who maybe isn't someone who checks out someone's content all the time, but then every once in a while you do, just to find out that you've been unsubscribed. So I was just reached out to by one of my longest running fans and viewers. This is someone who's been with me for over a decade. I know. I recognize the name. I've spoken with this person directly many times over the years. And they just wrote me an email and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know, I basically been away for a little bit. Like the last month I've been very busy. I haven't really been watching YouTube at all. I came back to YouTube to get caught up on your stuff. And I looked and I said, what happened here? None of Phil's videos are in my subscriber box. So I went and looked and they unsubscribed me. He's like, me? And I've been around, for over a decade watching your stuff pretty much daily. And it just so happens the 1 month that I didn't watch your stuff because I was busy. And now I come back to watch, I'm unsubscribed to you. And he said, by the way, it wasn't just you. It was all the big channels that he followed were all unsubscribed from. So apparently there's this weird thing on YouTube. If you don't use YouTube for a bit, it just unsubscribes you from everything automatically without your permission. Now again, is it a big deal? No. I don't care about my subscriber numbers. They're not a big determining factor of my level of success or anything like that, okay? But, FYI, it could happen. So if you're someone who is subscribing to my channels and you're curious what's going on, check out the channel, all right? This does happen from time to time. Do not rely on the YouTube sub box at all for any kind of information. It's not valid. Half the time, it doesn't even show the things properly. I've heard people saying, oh, I checked it off. Notify me about videos. Doesn't notify you about the videos, so you don't know they exist. All kinds of stuff. The thing for me is, it's not a big deal. I put out tons of content. Every day, I got a podcast, 5 pieces of gameplay, a daily wrap. Sometimes I have content on the Throwback channel. Sometimes I have content on the React channel. I've got content everywhere. It's not like, oh, I put out 1 video a week, and if you miss it, you missed all my content for the week. Some people are like that. I'm not. Okay? So, FYI, it's not a big deal, but at the same time, this person who's a longtime fan of mine wrote me concern being like, yeah, this sucks because I would have been watching some of your stuff. I thought maybe, something had happened, and that's when I checked and saw, no, you're uploading. They just unsubscribed me. So, FYI, keep your eyes peeled for that kind of stuff. Yes, YouTube is still flawed. It's all run by AI that doesn't know what it's doing. It always has been. It's always been run by the algorithm, right? And the algorithm has always been flawed. So you can't trust YouTube for nothing. To this day, people still tell me when I go online with my streams, they don't get a notification, despite the fact they've always clicked on notify me for when the stream goes live, and they still don't get it. Right? So, there you go. Okay. That's what I got to talk about today. Let's do some shout-outs. So, it looks like SD Chargers did a super chat. He said, your Scarlett is called an audio interface. That's right. We said about that earlier, that I guess this device is called an audio interface. And that is what allows me to use this studio-style mic for my PC setup. Thank you, SD Chargers, for the super chat. Outside of that, let's see here. Hold on. I received a $25 tip from 1 Minute Man. He says, in regards to my suggestion yesterday, not a big issue, but I wasn't really trying to say that you should have played off camera or edit or anything like that, but you responded as if I did. Yeah, but your suggestion was to basically play Baldur's Gate 3 in a way where, like, I separate the story from the side quests. And like I explained, the only way I could do that would have been, number one, to spoil myself on it, to know what's a story mission, what's a side quest, where in the game they are, right? And number two, to have to, like, split it. Like, how could I have done that? Like I said, again, I'm really confused about your suggestion, because if I had done it on camera, then it had to be raw and uncut, and I wouldn't have been able to do it. The only way I think I would have been able to do it was off camera, so that way I can record and edit and split the content. I don't know. It was a confusing suggestion, and the thing is, I know what you're saying because I know other YouTubers do it like that, but because I'm a full-time streamer, it just doesn't seem very viable that I could have done what you suggested in Baldur's Gate 3. All right. So anyway, he also says, FYI, you're in the endgame of Baldur's Gate 3 if you mean 40 hours left. And that is what I mean. Like, basically, when I say endgame, everything we do now is pushing to the end of the game, right? Like, all the quests that we're going to find, we've already started, and we're, like, getting to the end of them now. All these are involving the character arcs or the actual resolution of the game. It doesn't feel like, oh, you're in the middle of the game and giant new plot points will open that's starting up new stories or anything like that. At this point, it's basically pushing towards the end of the game, right? And regardless that it might take 40 hours, which people have said that basically it's a 140-hour game and I'm at hour 100, so I still have 40 hours to go. Yeah, I would actually consider this end game of the game because everything is pushing towards the finale, right? And that's exactly why I wanted to get as far as I did in the game. I didn't want to be stuck in Act 2, and then we put the game on hiatus. It's like, now what is it going to take? Another 8 months to beat it? In which case, what's the point? In this case, because we've gotten so far in Baldur's Gate 3, now every time that I play it, it will definitely feel like we're pushing further towards the end of the game with more advancement and more plots moving forward towards that resolution. For everyone, too, because, we've kind of gotten a plot resolution for Will, right? Like, it's like his plot has kind of ended. We have one more thing to do for him, and I think it's like 100% done. But outside of that, everyone else, still has these dangling, lingering plot lines, right? Some of which are really important, like Karlach might die, right? So we've got to get to those ends of those as well, right? Okay. Okay. All right, so that's what I got to talk about, guys. We have a little bit of extra time. So if you guys would like to tag me in the chat and do a little bit of Q&A, I would be happy to do that. Before we take a break and then we get set up for Tekken 8 online with Yoshimitsu today. Again, Unblockable. I have 2 different Unblockable I want to try. They're the same move, but they execute completely differently. Plus that other kick into stab move and another move after my throw. I have a few things to implement today, see if I can get better. So, no, we're not doing suggestion box with only 10 minutes left. Jasper is good. He was around. He was around earlier. I pet him live on the stream here. He was laying on the ground over there before. He's gone. He's basically been in and out, in and out. I have no idea where he is right now. Let me check. Well, I don't know if you could hear that. He's on the dresser, rolling around, super happy, licking me, purring as I pet him. He's in a good mood today. Probably because it's nice, cool weather. I got the air, I got the window open, the air's coming through the house, so he's in a good mood. Excuse me. So Jasper's good. What has influenced you to choose Hanes over other brands of undies? Nothing. I think I own some Hanes, but I own some others too. Like I have some Calvin Klein, I have some Hanes. I have those ones that I found in the closet a year and a half ago, remember? I found unused underwear, travel underwear that are made of like that spandex material. So I have those too. But probably they were the only underwear available. Like you probably saw on the waistband that it says Hanes, right? It sticks out a little bit when I stand up sometimes. Oh, excuse me. But no, it just probably that was all they had. I prefer regular boxer shorts. Really, right now, what's in style is those boxer briefs. I don't like boxer briefs. I don't like anything constricting on my ball sack. I like to have a nice loose. So I use regular boxer shorts. And they're hard to find these days. Like if you go to the store right now, you can barely find regular boxer shorts. It's like everyone wants ultra constriction on the balls. It's like, what is that? Is this a whole new generation of people who just like their balls super tight all the time? What's up with that? Do men like to be constricted today? Is that what it is? It's like a new thing? People, they just like to be confined and held back? I think that's what it is. Men now have to be, you know, completely, what do they call it? The soy boy mentality. So all the soy boys have to massively constrict their balls to their bodies. They can't just like let them loose. That's what it must be. So there you go. There's even boxer shorts named hipster shorts. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Hipster shorts, huh? Listen, my balls must be free. They cannot be constricted. Okay? None of these stupid boxer briefs. There's either you're wearing boxer shorts or you're wearing briefs. If you're wearing boxer briefs, you're wearing briefs. You understand? It's like a roundabout way to say, oh, I'm not wearing briefs. Yes, you are. You're wearing briefs. You like to have your balls crushed against your body. You enjoy it. You like being constricted in life. And just accept the fact that you love the constrictions. Okay? Excuse me. All right. I know what I'm talking about on this subject matter. I'm a professional, okay? I'm well versed. No, that's different. Not commando. Going commando, you're too free. There has to be some level, but it can't be massive constriction, but it also can't be just freedom to swing. Because freedom to swing is dangerous. Now you're swinging into stuff, you're getting caught up, that's bad too. You need to have some level of protection down there, at least. Okay. In truth, I actually used to use like briefs for a long time. I started wearing boxer shorts like in high school. I went from briefs to boxers. And I just stuck with boxers for my whole life. And I like boxers. I've always enjoyed them. Excuse me. All right. What's hilarious is now that I've said that, everyone in chat is trying to defend the fact that they all wear boxer briefs. And they're like, oh, no. Oh, you get a large size and they're not as constricting. Oh, no, there's a pocket down there that feels really good. No, 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 no. You're wearing briefs. You're wearing constricting briefs. I'm sorry. You can't justify it. You can't talk your way out of this one. You have something that's constricting your balls. You understand? Just accept it. And it's not just you. It's most of society. Like I said, if you go to the store, all you're going to see is briefs and boxer briefs. You can almost never find boxers anymore. Apparently, the modern man loves to be constricted and held back. All right? Okay. This is great. The best part about all this is that people will listen to this segment and idiots will think this is a serious segment and like, oh my God, Phil's so serious about this. This is obviously a joke, but they don't get the joke because they're that ignorant. They'll actually think that like I'm serious about this, right? Anyway. Yeah, I don't know anything about this Unicorn Overlord game. Likely, like you said, Anso Kamaru, because of the name, I haven't really heard much about it, nor anyone talking about it. He's saying that this game, Unicorn Overlord, is actually super good. He played the demo; it's really good. What is it? See, I don't even know what it is. Oh my God. Well, I've done it now. All right. Any last questions you guys like to ask? And by the way, please support today's Tekken stream. I love playing Tekken. I love it as a fighting game. I want to keep a fighting game in the rotation. This is actually the last major Tekken stream as a day stream we're going to do. Now it's going to become night streams exclusively because we need the time for Final Fantasy VII and other new releases. So please support today's stream. I love it. I want to keep going. But I've noticed very much dwindling support for fighting games recently. And obviously, I don't want them to have to go by the wayside for other games. So please support today if you like it. No, I've never been to Mount St. Helens. No, I've never thought about the possibility of an eruption. What's up, Jade? How you doing? Jade says he's ready to see some Yoshi today. I'm glad to hear that, Jade. Good to see you. Anso Kamaru says it's from the team that made Odin Sphere. I never played Odin Sphere either. It's a super in-depth strategy RPG similar to Fire Emblem with more setting of Final Fantasy Tactics. I like Final Fantasy Tactics. I'll be honest with you, I have to get away from these RPGs at this point. Every fucking game I'm playing is an RPG, right? Like, I feel like once we get through Final Fantasy VII and once we get through, like, Dragon's Dogma, I really need to go on a hiatus from RPGs. I can't keep playing them. They're too many. It's non-stop at this point. Why the fuck are there so many RPGs coming out in a short period of time? It was never like that. And now there's like 10. And I can't juggle them all. It's too much. So, definitely need to take a break from this shit. No, I don't play King of Fighters anymore. The last two were terrible, so I'm probably not playing it anymore. If anything, that just shows, King of Fighters at one point was a great series, and what's happened is over time the same people don't work on it anymore. It's probably a whole new dev team and everything, and it just kind of lost the spirit of what it used to be. So I'm just not interested anymore. It doesn't play well as a fighting game. That's why it gets dropped by everyone within like 2 months. Like, no one even talked about it. What a waste. Okay. Would I consider a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 stream? If they ever actually re-released it, remember a few years ago, that was one of the big campaigns by guys like Maximilian, was free MVC2, and what happened? Fucking Arcade 1UP got the exclusive rights to have it, sold it in an insanely overpriced arcade cabinet that didn't have functional online play and ripped people off, and now no one's talked about it since. So, it sure would be great if MVC2 would be viable to play in some form, and it's just not. Nothing you can really do about it. It's not widely available to be played anywhere. No, I'm not making appearances at any conferences. No one wants to see me anyway. People barely want to see me on my stream on the internet. Why would they want to see me at a conference? Right? Come on, man. All right, are we good? Shall we, can you play it on Fightcade? Oh, I have no clue. We haven't even gotten Fightcade working, so I have no idea. DSP Con would do great numbers at the Renton Convention Center. You know, at the very height of my popularity back in the day, when I really was a top YouTuber, I had an idea that I should maybe team up with other YouTubers, and we could do like a big event, and the event would essentially be like me teaming up with them to have like a con where we each would have our own part of the con. So like, you know, go to a conference room and do a live playthrough with the audience live, like play the game live with them, and people could be yelling stuff as I play and stuff, you know, like that. Or maybe do like almost like karaoke with the people. You know how I had the popular songs and stuff, like everyone like play them, and we all do karaoke of the popular songs and stuff and remixes and stuff like that. And you know, just like any convention, you could have a marketplace, you could have an arcade where people play games, food and booze and stuff. Like it'd be really cool. But that was when I was at the height of my popularity. At that point, I probably could have got 1,000 people to show up, right? Now, I'd be surprised if one person would show up who isn't there just to spit on me, you know? So, you know, that's how times change. I mean, that pretty much is the idea, Tubs. He says, well, I'm saying once you finish with Tekken this year, maybe get Fightcade and get stuff like MVC or Super Turbo or something streaming. No, that's basically the idea, right? Where later this year, you know what's going to happen. Tekken, I'm going to get bored of at some point, or you'll get bored. I mean, it's already kind of happening. I like the game, but you guys aren't liking it as much. Street Fighter 6. I'm going to play it again later this year, probably during the rebalance, but there's going to be times this year where there'll be lulls. And during that time, I would like to get Fightcade up and running and try it out for classics. Now, eventually, if there's other games too on there, but like I'm thinking all the CPS2 games, like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, the Alpha Series, you know, the versus games, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom 1, you know. Now, if there's other games on there like Marvel 2 or like the Third Strikes, I would love to play Third Strike. Yeah, I would like to play that too. But, you know, I have to see what's on there. I don't know what's on there, you know. We were going to do it in January, but then I realized there was no point in setting all that up just to drop it to play Tekken, right? So there's no point. Now we can work on it later this year. Ugh, my nose. What makes you decide on what games to play all the time? Tons of factors. Personal interest, interest of the audience, timing, cost. Is it a stream-friendly game? You know, there's a million factors involved. There's certain games I skip on purpose, like Helldivers 2. I don't think it would be a very stream-friendly game for me. That's a game you team up with a friend or two and you stream it online. I'm not going to do that. If I just drop in with randoms, it's probably not going to be nearly as fun or functional. So why bother with it? I know it's a great game. I've heard great things about it. I'm happy that a smaller team is doing very well, but it's probably not a game that would fit my style of content, right? Well, RPGs I love, but man, these RPGs are so long that it just takes me too long to really get through them. So now I got to weigh and balance which ones I play and which ones I don't. Like, think of it this way. I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and I was playing Sea of Stars and I put it on hold. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII this Thursday, and I'm being yelled at that I skipped Persona 3 Reloaded, the Grand Blue Fantasy game, and there's another one too that just came out. I'm getting yelled at that I've skipped 3 of them. Why were there like 7 RPGs within like 3 months? How the fuck am I supposed to play them all, right? So that's what I mean. Like, that's just how it is today. Like, you have to really weigh and balance these factors and stuff to figure this shit out. What's going to work, what's not. I'll be honest, I do feel like this last month, things didn't go as planned. Like, I thought more people would be into Tekken 8, and a lot of people are not. I thought more people would be into Like a Dragon. Most people are not. It seems like the feature on my streams has been Baldur's Gate again, and that has a dwindling audience. So I'm hoping that March, things get reinvigorated with Final Fantasy, with Battlefront, with Rise of the Ronin, and with Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm hoping those big 4 will actually be very exciting and bring more people back. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, and keep in mind, I skipped Suicide Squad, but I guess that's a good thing. Did you hear that Suicide Squad is, like, pretty much dead now? Like, almost no one's playing it anywhere. Within just a few weeks of it being out, it's pretty much a dead-in-the-water game. And even, I think it was Warner Brothers Games came out and said, yeah, it's a huge, like, disappointment for us. The game is just tanked and it's a waste of time, which is really sad because Rocksteady, again, used to be tippity-top of game development. So what happened there? Pretty sad. Darkwing Duck, yes, I saw Dead Island 2 is on Game Pass, but it's not a good game. Why would I play it? Darziak says, I wonder which is worse, Suicide Squad or Skull and Bones. I mean, like I said, Skull and Bones doesn't even look like a game. It's like a mobile game. Like, Skull and Bones is essentially a mobile game that's not on your phone, but they're charging, like, full price as if it were a full game when it's just a mobile game. So, if you want to pay $70 for a mobile game, there you go, you know. That's pretty much exactly what it is. See, here's the thing, Big Papa Phil. I'd be interested in the Princess Peach game, but number one, it comes out the same day as Rise of the Ronin and Dragon's Dogma 2. And number two, as you've seen recently, like with games like Super Mario Wonder, I can't really get attention for Nintendo games on my channels anymore. I try, and people just, like, don't care. So, as much as I'm interested in the game, because it looks good to me, I don't think people would care that much if I played it, and it's going to take time away from the other releases, so I'm probably not going to play it. By the way, you notice how bright it's getting in here? Because the sun has come out. Great. Just great. The sun comes out during a fighting game day. For the record, all right? For the record, today was supposed to be dark, cloudy, and rainy. And we got full sun outside now, so... Anyway, I received a $10 tip. We got to wrap up the show, but I received a $10 tip from Big Papa Phil. I'm still enjoying your Tekken coverage. I don't play the game at all. I get my Tekken fix through your coverage, and you've been doing well. It's fun to watch you learn on the fly. Keep it up. Thank you, Big Papa Phil. I'm hoping I can implement this new stuff today. We'll quickly go into like training mode and test out these moves that I saw online and see if I can implement them today. And like I said, we're in red ranks, so tough matches. Hoping that we can do good today. We'll see. I received a $5 tip from Boulder Shoulders. When you finish your Baldur's Gate playthrough, go back to React on your React channel, see what you did wrong, take notes as we watch it, and redo a playthrough with all the new knowledge. Let us know when you're willing to do that. About 10 years. Probably in about 10 years' time, we could go back and do a throwback on that playthrough, because that's about how long it would take for it to be retro, right? And that's the whole point of that channel. It's the throwback retro content. So we'll wait about a decade, then we'll go over. I'm down for that. In a decade, you want to go back and watch Baldur's Gate 3? Cool. Anyway, thank you, Glass of Milk, for the suggestion of Sackboy on the PS5. He says, my wife and I play this game together. We have lots of fun playing it. It's a basic platformer. Yeah, we are aware of it. It's actually quite cheap, too. We've been talking about it. We're looking for a game to do co-op right now. Right now, it wouldn't fit in the schedule regardless, but we're looking maybe in March to do some co-op. And definitely, it looks like Sackboy may be a game we're considering. It's cheap. It's fun. It'd probably be silly co-op together. The game that we saw yesterday, remember on the React show, there was a game called... Now I've completely forgot the name of it. It's a game where two creatures, it's a cat and a fish, and they're teaming up to do co-op platforming puzzles and combat together. And it looks really neat. And I thought, oh, that could be a really good game. The problem is it's on Steam only. So we'd have to look into getting it working on the mini PC if we wanted to do a playthrough of that one. But we are looking. Okay, all right, guys. Let's end the show. The show's now gone on for quite some time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for enjoying. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for everything. I appreciate it. I hope you had a good show with me today. Winter's almost done. In March, I feel like spring will have sprung. You know what I'm saying? In just a few days, we're going to be heading into the springtime push and get out of this winter funk. So I hope that you'll all be along for that ride with me. Hope you're enjoying this end-of-week content before we unlock Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on Thursday. And I hope to see you then. Have a good night. Have a good day, I should say. Peace out. See you tomorrow.